Hello again, everybody out there in podcast world. This is Ralph Lindy with the Home-Based Business Success Podcast. Hey, hello everybody. Boy, I am feeling the the strain right now. This is the fifth podcast that I've recorded today. I just woke up, figured there's not a whole lot else I can do, so I might as well just go ahead and plan podcasts ahead of time. And so, yeah, this will be my fifth podcast. We're going to be publishing this on Monday. And I thought a good Monday topic for the time and place that a lot of people are in right now is the topic of transitioning to a home-based business. I know we have a lot of scared people out there right now. Times are getting kind of unpredictable. The price of oil, price of gas is getting up there. And I can really relate because the last time that we had a situation anywhere near this, it was when I was planning to transition from an outside job to a home-based business. I had a job working for somebody else, and it was a situation in which I was traveling 120 miles a day, going back and forth to work, and the price of gas got to the point where I felt that I could no longer afford to keep working my job. So I had to make that transition. So what I thought I would do with this podcast is share with you 4 tips on transitioning from an outside job working for somebody else to your own home-based business. And my first tip is do not be in a hurry to fire your boss. You know, one thing that people get all excited about when they think about creating their own home-based business is that I am going to be able to fire my boss and just go home, make money, do my own thing, and just, tell those people I work with to, kiss my rear end. And that's the temptation. But, don't go there, don't do that. Do not be in a hurry to fire your boss. Give yourself a little bit of time to make the transition. And keep in mind that home-based business can be worked as a part-time job before you turn it into your full-time occupation. So rather than being in a hurry to fire your boss, getting your home-based business started and feeling all the pressure to turn it into a successful business overnight, you can work it as a part-time job. I mean, that's what I did. When I was working and having to travel 120 miles a day, I got to the point where my full-time job really wasn't giving me the gas money to drive into work. So I sat down and I figured, okay, what can I do to get that extra gas money to really make it worthwhile to go to my other job? And the thing about my other job is that we had health benefits, and it was a job that even at that point in time I thought might work up into something better. So I created a part-time lawn care business, which I worked, as I could. And I just advertised in the paper, and I was looking for people that lived along the same route or close to the same route that I took every day back and forth to my other job. And so what my quest was at that time was to build up my own home-based business as a part-time gig where I could take in some lawn care jobs on my way to and from work and then be able to come back home and just crash for a few hours, get maybe 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and then turn around and do the whole thing all over again. And I did that for, about a year. I was working one full-time job, 120 miles round trip, and then also working my home-based business job as a part-time gig and doing that in my spare time. And I mean, that worked out. And the benefit of that was that when it came time for me to say no and to fire my boss and to quit my full-time job, I did it with a sense of confidence. I knew that I had something else I could fall back on. I knew it was earning me some money. And I also knew I was reasonably certain that if I just put a little bit of extra energy into my home-based business, which was already functioning very well as a part-time job, I could turn it into a full-time job and have it continue to pay the bills. And so that's how I did it. It took a lot of energy. It took a lot of, sleepless days, really, because, I was working, 8 hours, 10 hours, sometimes 12, sometimes 14 hours a day between the full-time job and then the part-time home-based business lawn care service. And I came home just to get a couple hours sleep and then turn around and do the whole thing over again. And then when I did get a day off, I tried to schedule myself to where I'd have one full day off a week so I could just crash and rest and get caught up on my sleep and get energized so I could face the next week. So if you're good about putting in the extra hours, if you're good with the idea of managing your own time, you can work your home-based business as a part-time job. Give yourself a little bit of a safety factor. Have a full-time job, work your home-based business as a part-time job, and then take the time to build your home-based business up to the point where you can fire your boss. But I mean, do it in a polite way. Don't tell him to kiss any part of your body that, just don't kiss anything. But be courteous about firing your boss, because who knows? Now, I'm not saying you may have to go back there and get your job all over again, but thinking more in terms of being a successful entrepreneur, you might actually find yourself in a position where you are working your home-based business job and taking on your former boss as a client. That is possible. That is not unthinkable. And so, you want to leave your full-time job when you do make that move in a positive way. Because who knows? You might be doing business with your boss later on, not as an employee, but as an equal. So just keep that in mind. So that's my first tip. Do not be in a hurry to fire your boss, and be open to working your home-based business as a part-time job in addition to working your full-time job. And that can give you a little bit of extra time to build up your character, build up your confidence, build up your business. Second tip, find a business model that fits you. Not all home-based business ideas will be attractive to everybody. Not everybody really has the same desires in life. Not everybody really has the same hopes and the same dreams. What I find enjoyable may not work out for somebody else. So take the time, do your research. Don't stall, but do the research to find a business model that really fits you. It takes time, it takes work to build a home-based business, so you might as well take the time to build something you love rather than something you're going to hate. So look at what's out there, sit down, brainstorm, see what you can think. My first home-based business, it's something that my wife and I dreamed up by ourselves. It was something that we felt we could do. It was something that I thought I would enjoy doing for a few years. And I did. I enjoyed doing it for a few years. And then by the time that business started to slow down, I was ready to transition into another business that I liked even more. So find a business model that fits you, something you find enjoyable. Don't just jump into the first thing that you think can make you money. It might be able to make you money, but remember, you're going to have to put a lot of time and effort into it, and it might as well be something that you love. So is it something that you love? Is it something that suits you? Figure that out before you jump in. Third tip here. Find a business that fills a long-term need. This is kind of speaking to the issue of long-term sustainability. Find a business that fills a long-term need in your area if you're doing a local business, or a long-term need in your country or in the world at large if you're doing an online business that really has no set geographical boundaries. But don't just jump into something that is the fad of the moment and expect it to last. A solid example of this is the water slide industry. Where we live, about 60 miles away from us, we have two water slides. One that opened up, I think they both opened up about the same time. One that did extremely well, and my wife and I, in the last 20 years, I think we've been out there twice. So I can't really think of the name of this water slide, but it's a beautiful water park. Yeah, we don't get out of the house much. That's one of the downsides to home-based business, but I guess we do need to get out a little bit more often. But this one water slide has done an exceptionally good business. They had a good amount of property to work with. They had a good business plan. They had great financing. And it opened at the time, I think this was back in the 90s, when water slides were the big fad. Everybody was opening up a water slide. Everybody wanted to ride on a water slide, and it was like the next big thing. And this one water slide opened up, did very well. They had a lot going for them. They had a solid business plan. And then probably about 30 miles away from that other water slide, this other family decided they'd try to open up their own water slide. And you can drive by it now. It is in ruins. You can drive by the highway. You can see where the water slide was. And you can see trees growing up through the water slide. It's just an abandoned business. And what they did is that, I guess, I don't know them personally. I don't really know why the business failed. But I do know in generality that what they did is that they jumped on the fad wagon. They jumped into a business that was the latest fad, the next new big thing. But they didn't get in at the right time, with the right backing, with the right skill set, with the right determination, and it ended up failing. And that's what can happen when you get into a business model that is like a fad. It's the fad of the moment. It's the new next big thing, but you never know how long those fads are going to be operative, how long people are going to be really, really interested in them, and you never really know how well you're going to be doing in that line of business anyway. If the fad is, say, water slides, you don't know a darn thing about water slides, but you got a lot of land, it's all downhill. You figure, I'm going to build a water slide, and we're just going to run a bunch of water down it and see what happens. If that's not really your passion, if that's not really what you want to do with your life, is manage a water slide, then you may be setting yourself up for failure. So find a business that fills a long-term need, not just a passing fad. Like again with our lawn care service. We still have people in our area that need to have their lawns done. I don't do that kind of work anymore, but other people do. I quit. They picked up the ball. There's always a lot of people, advertising. Will mow lawns. Some people advertising, looking for people to do odd jobs to mow lawns. A lot of people needing help in my particular area. So find a business that fills a long-term need, something that preferably is going to be evergreen, a need that is always going to be present, something that you won't be automated out of or, outsourced to China out of. No, find a business that really fills a legitimate long-term need and see what you can do to fill that need. And then just go through the steps, build it up as fast or as slow as you feel that you need to go. And again, make it something that you love, because you're going to be putting a lot of time into your business. And if it's successful, you're really going to be putting a lot of time into that business, because you want to be feeding that business until that business is able to feed you, and then you want to keep that business growing and going. So make sure it's something you love and something that's going to keep filling the needs of others in a long-term, sustainable way. And then my final point, be willing to start small if you need to, and expand as you are able. You don't have to max out 2 or 3 credit cards to get a home-based business started. You can do that if you want to. A lot of people out there are saying, we have this great online business opportunity. For $5,000, you can start at the top and work your way down. I'm geared the opposite way. I like to kind of start on the bottom or the medium level and then work my way up. I don't like going into debt to start a new business. Now, some folks do. They handle debt very well. That is not a problem for them. But I think if you are a beginning entrepreneur, you've never been in business before for yourself, you're willing to learn, but you're not, an expert yet, be willing to start small and then work your way up gradually. Take baby steps. And if you're taking baby steps every single day and working your way up, you can start off small and expand in a relatively short time. See, some people in home-based business, took me, for example, about a year to transition from working 2 jobs, an outside job where I was the employee, and then my home-based business job that I was working as a part-time job. Took me about 1 year to transition away from working 2 jobs to just doing my home-based business. Now, other folks may take a year, 2 years, 3 years, and other people can do it fast, much faster than I did. I've heard of people that just within a few months, they're off and running and they're growing. So, results are not typical. Some people may be able to go very fast. Other people may need to take baby steps. Be willing to start small and then expand as you are able. Take baby steps every day. Short steps every day will get you to your long-term goal if you're committed and if you're serious and if you're not going to throw in the towel at the first sign of trouble. So, again, other people, if you feel like you can go ahead, go into debt, you're confident you're going to make it, you're going to do it, that's your decision. I'm not here to tell you no. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just giving my advice as someone who has been there and done that. And if you need to start small, then start small. And you can grow your own home-based business as quickly or as slowly as you feel you need to go. The main thing is it's not whether you go fast or slow that counts. It's whether you get started and whether you keep going. So if you're willing to start small and then expand as you are able, take a portion of your profits from a small home-based business, invest it back into the business, grow a bigger business, and keep right on going. I think that's a pretty good way to do it. That's the way I did it. But, it's your life, your business. Do as you see fit. But that's my final suggestion. So there you have it. 4 points for growth in transitioning to a home-based business. Don't be in a hurry to fire your boss. Find a business model that fits you. Find a business that fills a long-term legitimate need, and be willing to start small and expand as you're able. And keep your eye open to constant growth. That's the way we grow, as entrepreneurs and as human beings. We start off taking the first steps, and then we keep growing as we go. And we never really get to a point where we feel that we've made it. We've reached that plateau, and now I can just sit back and goof off for the rest of my life. No, constant growth is how we keep on keeping on and keep growing in a changing world, a changing economy, and in the home-based business sector. That's how I see it. So, hey, thanks for hanging out with me today. We are going to call it quits for now. My next topic, which we will do tomorrow, along these same lines, transitioning to an online business. Maybe you've got your own business. Maybe it's a home-based business or other kind of business. But after the pandemic, after 2020, and having a lot of face-to-face businesses forced to close, forced to shut down, you may be wondering how you can take an already existing business and transition to an online business, or at least use online business as a way to complement your current face-to-face business model. I'll be throwing out a few ideas along those lines in our next podcast tomorrow. So until then, take care. Great luck in whatever it is that you do for a living. And we will leave you with a little song here by Hunter and the Dirty Jacks, Rock and Roll Soul. Thanks for dropping by. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Young man, take a look at me now. I'm down to play today. You can string me up and bring the crowd. That's all I need to say. Voice of an angel, entertainment for a king. No rhythm to speak. I wish the God you could sing. Finding Helen of Troy in a world style. Could start a religion with a launch code smile. And I was born with a rock and roll soul. Here's what I need. Make me home. Yeah, I was born with a rock and roll soul. Here's what I need. Make me home. Yeah. Check out. Yeah, bow. Yeah, bow. Young man, need to find my way to bring this to the top. I got locks and the golden chops. There's no way this won't pop. Young man, I'm ready to roll. I'm gonna storm this stage tonight. Just play this song. It won't take long to see how they